Hello all, Pit Bike Mike. So today we are going to be starting up and reviewing this beautiful Rebel Blue Royal Enfield Hunter 350. Let's get to the intro and then we'll get right into it. Alright, so this Royal Enfield, I've had it for about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. No, I don't even think it's been that long. But either way, the girlfriend and I have put about, 358 miles on this thing. So, a pretty good amount. I did the first service on this thing. I didn't do the valve check yet. Eventually I'll get to that. But I haven't done that yet. So, let's start off. One thing I love, this has a center stand, which, it's kind of nice to have. It's one of those that you don't really always think about it often, because most motorcycles do not have that, but, at least this one does, which is pretty awesome. So, interesting tires on this. These are the Crete Zoom XLs, which they're in a pretty common size. So if for some reason I decide to switch it up at some point, I could easily do that, because I'm running a it's a 110/70/17 in the front, 140/70/17 in the rear. So super common size, super easy to get tires for. But so far these tires feel really good. I can't complain about them at all, which that's saying something, right? Now, I do want to mention something, because I did do an oil change on this myself. The O-ring that they give for this isn't the best. Like, it's really small for, like, the channel that it's cut for. So, when I did the oil change, I didn't clean this off as good as I should have. Or could have. So the problem is that when I was running it, I was starting to get just a little bit of seepage coming out, which, it worried me. It worried me a fair bit. But, it stopped the seepage. Everything's good. Oil level's good. So, can't complain about that. So, actually, I got a little cheat sheet this time. So, little info about the bike. 20 horsepower, 19.9 foot-pound of torque, which, if you want to round it up, 20 and 20, not bad. 3.56 gallon gas tank, which I gotta say, it's nice. Because I think for me, I think it's like the low fuel light comes on roughly around, like 150, 160 miles, which, that's, if you're getting the 85 miles to the gallon that they claim on this bike, you still have another full gallon left to go at that point, which, so nice distances between, fuel stops on this, real nice. Can't complain about that one little bit. Bike is a little heavy, 399 pound, which, it doesn't feel like it when you're on the move, so you can't really complain about that too much. Really good seat height, 31.1 inch seat height. It's a great first bike, honestly. So, because mostly got this for the girlfriend, because this is, her first bike after passing her motorcycle course, and she loves it. It's easy to ride, it's comfortable. Yeah. So, let me get to the good part. Let me start this thing up for you all, so you can hear it. And then we'll go for a short ride, and I'll get, just give you some more information about this thing and, just kind of talk you through it. Obviously, not the loudest thing in the world because, it's a 350 thumper, but it's not too bad sounding. So, let me get ready to roll and then we will hit the road. Alrighty, so we are about ready to take off here. Just wanted to give you a quick look at that instrument display. Got your fuel gauge, your gear position indicator, your odometer, trip A, trip B. And interesting thing is when the low fuel light comes on, a trip F will show up, which will tell you how many miles you have till empty, or not till empty, but like how many miles you've gone with, you know, your low fuel light on. So it's kind of nice if like you're just mindlessly out riding about, not paying attention to nothing, and then you're like, oh man, hang on, how long has that low fuel light been on, you know? And it's a pretty cool feature, I will admit. Alright, so now we're on the move, got that air flowing, which honestly it's kind of nice. It's a little warm out today. So in the 358 miles of riding this thing around, I gotta say I love it. It has really great driving characteristics. It's very nimble. Yeah, this bike is just a really good place to be. It's super comfortable, you know, compared to the fleet of bikes that I have and ride on the regular. I gotta say it ranks pretty high. It ranks pretty high among them. So, you know, we'll do some little bit of back roads, try to, you know, get a little feel for this thing. So as I'm riding here, I at least want to admit, you know, besides for that weird oil seeping thing, which, you know, I wasn't a big fan of, you know, it definitely worrisome a little bit. I did go out and buy a bigger O-ring just in case. You know, it's automotive, but, you know, it same diameter, all that, but just a little thicker. So, you know, worst case scenario, if I have issues, I can throw that in. But the one downside that I will say that I've been having is, like, compared to like my you know, my little 230cc Supermoto, this definitely shakes the mirrors a lot more than the Supermoto does, which, you know, was kind of, you know, one of those things. Like, yeah, look at that shake. But either way, so going on, some good things about this, besides pretty much the whole bike is a good thing. I mentioned this before in some of my videos, but I've been pretty fortunate. I have not had the issues that people claim about getting into neutral. This bike has gone into neutral super easy every time that I've tried to get into that gear. So, you know, I can't complain about that. It's kind of, you know, I'm glad that I missed that weird little annoyance, I guess you could say. The transmission, super smooth. I like the way it feels. Like, the way it goes into gear just feels very satisfying. It has a very good feel going into the different gears and all that. I will admit, I still once in a while have that rear brake squeal, which I mentioned in one of my other videos. See, look at that, first time right into neutral. Super nice, super easy. So while we're sitting here at the stoplight, as you can see, I am 69 inches tall. What is that? I think inseam of like 30, I don't know, like somewhere between like maybe like 30 to 31 inch inseam, I guess. I am perfectly flat-footed both sides, which, you know, that's pretty nice because it's got that 31.1 inch seat height. So yeah, it's comfortable, and I'm not even wearing boots. I'm just wearing regular tennis shoes today. Interesting thing about the bike, you know, since I'm sitting here at the light, and I mentioned this on a video, it actually comes from the factory with a USB port, which honestly I wish that was a standard piece on all bikes, because, you know, there's no reason why bikes that nowadays shouldn't come with that, especially since, ooh, they're burning oil. Because of, you know, the fact that, like, everybody most of the time has their smartphones hooked up to their, you know, handlebars, stuff like that, using it for navigation. I don't know, I feel like that's something that should be just standard on, you know, on bikes nowadays, is just a nice USB port or something. But, you know, I may be, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? asking for too much. I don't really know, but it would be nice. Alrighty, so here we are, getting out towards where this bike really shines, which I'll admit, it does great, just cruising around. It's a great little just around town bike. I wouldn't really say much for highway use, but it could do it. Like, I've had it because it will do 60, 70, maybe up to 75 without too many issues, but yeah, listen to that acceleration. I gotta say, for only having 20 horsepower and it being the weight that this thing is, it does a-okay getting up to speed, doing what it needs to do. But doing like these backcountry roads, country lanes, whatever you would like to call it, this is where it really shines, where it just wants to go through the corners. Like, I haven't felt like the tires have given me any weirdness. Like, these tires seem perfectly fine for whatever, which it's kind of, I will admit, it's kind of impressive. It's not often that you do get a good tire straight from the factory that feels good or whatnot. I could go into all that, but with like some of my other bikes that I've had to change, that like where I was like, I need to change the tires because I just couldn't stand them anymore. But either way, I digress. So so one of the main reasons that I actually went for this bike, so I did a demo day long time ago. When I say it like that, people may think years, but it's only been like 2 months, but either way. So I did a demo day on this, and I feel like if they would have let me take it on roads that I am more familiar with, stuff like that, I swear I would have bought that bike, or this bike, that day. Because honestly, it's a great little around towner. It's just so much fun. It's comfortable. Like, honestly, out of all the bikes that I have, this has the most comfortable seat, and that's a nice thing to say. Because like one day I jumped off from this and got right onto my my Supermoto, and I was just in pain. I was like, oh no. I'm like, this is not going to be a good time for me. But either way. So coming back to one of the things that I said previously about the bike, honestly, this is a great first bike. I personally think it's super approachable. The seat height is great. Like the riding position is a very nice upright riding position. And me, I've been riding for a number of years, and honestly, this is a great bike just for people that have been riding for years, that just want something simple, something that has character, but still going to be reliable. Because, that's the problem sometimes, where it's like, sometimes you get onto machines and they're just so good, but they have no personality. They just, I don't know, they work, very surgical. Like, I could almost say like my Z900's like that. It's great, but it doesn't really have a whole lot of personality. It's kind of hard to describe. But you get on this, which has a really old bike, like persona, like, because that's kind of Royal Enfield's thing, creating like modern retro bikes. And you get on this thing and it just something about it just makes you fall in love with this bike. I haven't yet been able to put my thumb on this thing, on what makes me like just want to love this thing. I'm not really sure. I'll admit the price point of this bike is fantastic. Like, I picked this up for $5,200 out the door, which that's a good price. That's a really good price on the new bike. And you know, honestly, it's, yeah, I don't know, great price. The bike is just beautiful. The color scheme, it is just a pretty bike to look at. Like, it's definitely one of those that as you park it and you walk away, you definitely are gonna look back at it. You know, and so like I was saying also, this bike has character and personality, and then it's, you know, I'm still early in the miles, but you know, you get on like forums and stuff and people claim that these things are super reliable. So it's like, man, that's like a nice trifecta. Low cost, you know, pretty to look at, and reliable. Like, you know, it's kind of hard to find a bike that checks all three of those, you know? Like, you know, like the KTM I had. It was pretty, but it wasn't reliable, and it definitely wasn't cheap. So, you know, let's be honest, like, but yeah, I don't know. I definitely am enjoying this bike quite immensely. And, you know, even when you're stuck behind traffic like this, it has plenty of roll-on power, you know, to do its thing. Like, you know, you can go up a hill without losing speed, which is nice. Because, you know, like, you know, like riding around a Grom or something like that, you gotta be 100% all the time to get up hills, to get up anything. But this, it just does. It's relaxing riding this compared to, like, say, a Grom or something like that. Or even, like, to say my Supermoto. Like, my Supermoto, it wants to be, you know, wound out. It wants to be just thrown into corners fast. This just wants to cruise. And honestly, even though I like speed, I found myself enjoying going slow on this. Which, you know, kind of puts me into almost an identity crisis. Because I'm like, man, this is not who I typically am. But this bike makes me want to be that. You know, it just wants to allow me to relax. It wants me to just enjoy the scenery, to be just out here. Yeah. But either way, I'm not going to try to get too philosophical and, you know, have like some Zen moment. But, you know, I'm just trying to say how good this bike so far is. But yeah, definitely, I might have forgotten some things. It's kind of hard, you know, like, I'll admit. Sometimes you just get, whether it's this bike or any other bike, sometimes it's hard to, like, to try to talk about things, because you just want to, when you're on a good bike, you just want to enjoy it. You just want to be with the bike and just, you, the bike, and the road, just kind of, yeah. But either way, you know, definitely check out a lot more of my videos about this bike, because I definitely am going to make some, you know, I plan on making some good videos about this, I hope, you know. Now, my definition of good may be different than other people, but, you know, I'm trying here. So, yeah. So, I really hope you all like, you know, my content and stuff like that, and I hope you all like my little review about this Royal Enfield Hunter 350. So, yeah, please, you know, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps out the channel, you know, and yeah, it means a lot to me. So, thanks all for watching. Pit Bike Mike, out.